But I also want to honor our last speaker, dear Jun Fuchs. And I've been so excited for his keynote for like a really, really long time, because he's going to talk about intimacy and sexual freedom and so much more. This man is going to knock it out of the park, and he has brought some audience members here today. He's been promoting the heck out of the summit. I so appreciate his dedication to this cause. So he's coming to us from Bali, and Jun, I take it away, my friend. You've got so much going on. So tell us what you got going on and what you're bringing to us tonight.
Woo, let's fly high. First of all, one more time, just thank you all. I haven't made it to participate in the full summit because Bali, we have a different time zone. It was middle in the night when you guys started. So that's why yesterday and today I just kind of tuned in halfway through. Still being really excited to watch all of the replays and all of that. First of all, can you hear me good now? Because when I tuned in today, it was, oh, okay. Oh, so many thumbs up. I love it. Love it. Okay. Wow. I got to take a deep breath on everything that just happened before. Feel free to join along with me. When I in and exhale, I usually do it with sound, and you can do the same if you feel like it as well. So, well, just to tell you guys a little bit about myself, I do some interesting form of introduction sometimes. And what I do is I introduce myself as the person I was 6 years ago. And then I created a beautiful little visual sheet, which I will share through the comment section, where I created what my journey looks like. And then I'll tell you who I am today. So I was June, I was 18, 19 years young. I used to work at McDonald's. I ate a lot of junk food. I was a competitive badminton player, which was really draining my mental health because I would always win and I would judge the shit out of myself for it. So looking back, I was also slightly overweight. I was either being mobbed by my classmates or I was in the bridge between someone who was being mobbed and the bigger group, the ones, the cool kids or whatever the fuck you want to call them. By the way, I swear sometimes, so you just have to get used to that, okay?
So back then, offended, I don't even know what to say.
Oh, me too, man. So all of that. And so basically there were a lot of like main points in my life where I hit rock bottom, and most of them were connected to either role models in my life leaving my life, not dying, but like consciously leaving my life and leaving me behind. One of them was my father when I was at the age of 11 years old. Another thing that happened was that my sexual orientation is like, it's like, I'm fucking confused, okay? I was fucking confused and I still am. The difference is that back then, judgmental little June inside of his head was kicking and beating the shit out of that insecurity. And today I'm so much at peace with defining myself as a sexually free person. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in my speech, how that all came across. So basically the person I was 6 years ago, pictured as a slightly overweight guy having his back full of acne, including the face area as well, being judgmental towards himself, not having a lot of friends, living in Switzerland where I grew up in. And life wasn't great. I remember a time where I was around 17, 18 years old, and where I would lay in bed nighttime. I would look up to the ceiling and I would really think about, is this gonna end? Do I want to continue this? Like, is this worth doing it? And my mind played out little scenarios already. the same time, that energy was also within my family, because I have a sister who is adopted from India, and she experienced at an extremely young age the abandonment of her parents leaving her behind. And that was a subconscious programming that she took into our family that adopted her beautifully, of course. And then my dad left, and she experienced it twice, and she also was really, really suicidal. So both of us had a phase like that. And yeah, so that June back then was, yeah, you get the picture, right? Just to give you a brief image of where I'm coming from. Now, since I have studied graphic design and I am in love with visual arts, I created this sheet called Jun's Roadmap to Happiness. And this sheet basically sums up what has happened to me, or kind of like the steps I took over the past 6 to 6.5 years. And there we go. I just popped it into the comment section. Let me know with a thumbs up if you are able to receive and open it. I see 1 thumbs up. That looks good. Okay. So the invitation for you is to open that up right now. And then just to take a look, and I'm not going to say anything for a moment because there's a lot of information on that one. You possibly have to zoom in and as well on it, since it's like, it starts and like, it's a long sheet. It's not an A4 format. I played around a bit. Designer freedom, hashtag designer freedom. So let me tell you what happened, okay? So I've summed this whole thing up in 3 chapters, as you can see here. And the first chapter that I could identify reflecting back on my process was minimalism. So I got introduced to a woman named Connie Bizalski about 5 years ago, and she's like an entrepreneur, soulpreneur, digital nomad, minimalist, vegan yogi, queer personality and everything. And I looked up to her. I saw her online and I was like, this is a pretty cool person. I want to have a piece of that cake. So I started learning from and with her, partially like learning from her YouTube videos, really diving into her content. And she is a lot about minimalism. So I was like, what is that? What does minimalism do? How does that work? And how could that, like, out that there were 3 main aspects of minimalism, as you can see here. The first one I call material minimalism. The second one, mental minimalism. Now, these, let me see if I can see you again here. Okay. Now, these 3 kinds of minimalism I have started integrating into my life, and let me tell you a little bit about them. So material minimalism is super obvious, right? You just declutter your physical surroundings and you create space around you with the object you carry around. We heard before beautifully, yeah, the heavier the backpack, the harder it gets to carry it around. So I started like getting rid of the stuff that really didn't serve me, and I used a couple of tools that I got introduced to by different people online. I was just Googling, you know, just like figuring out how can I get rid of stuff and let go of material belongings. Further down the road, I realized that the more I let go of material belongings, the more space in my brain, in my mental landscape starts growing. And I was like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. So I have to take care of less things around me, which makes me think less at the same time, which also gives me more time to think about other things that I want to have in my life. So at some point, I bought a surf skateboard, which is like a hybrid between a surfboard, but with wheels on it. So you can kind of surf on the street. And I started doing that because I had more time. I didn't have the TV anymore, which was like taking up 1 hour to 3 every day. I didn't have the shelves that I was needed to clean and to arrange my clothes in. I decluttered the amount of clothing that I have. And all of that actually created more time for me to like take care of my mental space as well. And then moving further on from that, at some point I realized that I'm spending a lot of time with people that keep holding me back. They're telling me things like, Jun, it's so hard. Raise your hand if you have anybody in your life that tells you that if you tell them about your dreams or something, oh, but that's hard, or oh, but that's quite like, that's almost impossible. Yeah, but we all do. And it's No judgment there. It's just a really human behavior because of conditioning, right? We're all conditioned from our childhood, from our parents, from the former generation. And that's why I said before to you, Jake, that it really hit me that you talked about the generations passing down the wisdom, right? Just as a little jump back on that. And I realized that there were a lot of people in my life which were holding me back. So I was like, what can I do here? Can I tell them to shut the fuck up, and will they be okay with that? Or do I have to eliminate them out of my social surroundings? So most of the time it was the second. So, and I realized that it's not hard, it's not easy. Oh, there you go, the conditioning again. It's not easy to eliminate people from your life if you are not used to it, and if you are conditioned to allow people to be in your life, if they are maybe family members, if they're long-term friends. Like, who the fuck kicks somebody out of your life that you have known for 10 years and you have had good experiences with, but now you don't anymore? Who does that? This guy! Ah! Yeah. So just these 3 steps of minimalism, and I started integrating them over the past years, and I started minimizing the people that were holding me back. And guess what? Suddenly there was more space for the people that were not holding me back and elevating me on my journey, where I want to go and who I want to be. Because it's up to me who I want to be. Very important. Write that down on your mirror so you see it every day. It's up to you who you want to be. Yeah. So that's chapter number 1. And then I moved into chapter number 2, which I call medicine. And if you hear the word medicine, and what I ask a lot of my people that hop on a discovery call with me, by the way, I'm a coach today, holistic and mental health. If people hop on a call with me and discover what's happening, and I talk about them on the topic medicine. And usually what comes up for them are drugs. The doctor gives me stuff, and that's what I used to believe too. And then at some point, I traveled to Bali in 2016 for the first time, and I got smacked in the face with yoga, breath work, meditation, mindfulness. And I was like, what are these people doing? What is happening here? And they all seem so balanced and joyful, but like, I don't get yoga. Why should I, why should I bother doing that stuff? So Bali was one wake-up call for me, especially the people on Bali I met back then. And that helped me redefine my image of medicine. And as you can see on this sheet, I define it today in 4 steps. The first one is healing foods. So as you mentioned before, James, diet. Oh my God, like what you put in your body part of your energy. And if you're not aware of that, you're welcome. Now you are. It's a part of your energy, can be allowed to be selected specifically. And that's why me ending up today as a almost field with my physical and emotional stress relief level, I'm not saying that that works out for everybody, right? So with some of my clients, I figure out different diets for them, but check out what heals you in terms of foods, because you have a food intake of 2 to 3 times a day, maybe even more if you love to snack. And that shit can be medicine if you choose it to be so, right? And the second step I identified is mindful movement. And as I said before, I was a competitive badminton player. And what would happen with my body back then, my physical body, was I wrecked it. Like I wrecked my knees and my lower back because I was just on the push side of energy. I was just pushing, get better. I was about to enter a national league team, like the top of the top in Switzerland. Shortly before I did that, I realized a shift needed to happen. So I dropped out of that. But I was so much in the push energy and I was into the movement, yeah, but not the mindfulness. I didn't take care of my body. I didn't recover it afterwards. I didn't stretch enough. I didn't treat myself with maybe a massage or going to the sauna and stuff like that. So mindful movement became like the second step of redefinition of medicine over the past 6 years. Then moving on to conscious breathing. Yeah, I said it before, breath work. If you haven't heard of it before, check it out. It's a really beautiful tool. Maybe you have heard of Wim Hof, the Iceman. He's also called a superhuman. Yeah, I see some thumbs going up. Right? Yeah, and he's just this Dutch guy who seems crazy, but basically what he does is really it's possible as fuck. And what he does is he breathes, and he uses his breath to strengthen his mind, to make things possible, but that nobody else believes is possible. So simple as that: conscious breathing / breath work. And then as a fourth step, I realized, okay, healthy intimacy. Now I cleaned up the space in my social surroundings when I started getting into healthy intimacy and vulnerability and connecting on deeper levels with other beings. Can be sensual, can be friendship, can be sexual even, can be collegial. Well, I don't have colleagues anymore. I have friends, or I have partners, or I have lovers, right? I don't do colleagues anymore because, as said, social minimalism. I only want the people that are really dear to me in my life. Yeah. So, and then moving on to chapter 3, which was strongly connected to my graphic design background, because I used to work a lot with creativity and I am in love with creativity. Yet about 3 years ago, I experienced a 1-year desert phase, I would call it. I was 1 year full on not into creativity because I often felt enslaved in my creative powers. I would have clients that wouldn't pay me enough or not on time. It was really a struggle to ask for the cash that I felt like I deserved because everybody didn't give it to me. So how do you build a confidence in I deserve this if nobody is willing to give it? And you don't know where to start. Back then, I didn't work with mentors and coaches on my prosperity and abundance mindset yet, right? So it was just like, I'm done with creativity. Let's drop out of this. And then in 2018, I believe it was, when I started this chapter 3 called Make. And then I realized at some point that all the energy I've built and I've infused into myself. I usually use this cup. There was cacao in here before. That's why it's dirty. And then if I do chapter number 1, right, if I practice that a little bit and fill some stuff into my cup of minimalism and create the space that I need, right, I fill my minimalism cup. And then I go into medicine and I'm like, okay, let's get some healing foods. Okay, let's do some yoga. Let's do stretches to my body. Let's go for a surf. Let's fill my cup of medicine, right? And at some point when it's full and it starts overflowing, what do I do with it? How do I infuse that energy? That's good. How do I infuse that energy into creating stuff? And that's where chapter 3 Make came in. And here you see acceptance over perfectionism. So I had to tell my perfectionist voice over and over and over and over again to shut up and to just let me do whatever I want to do. And then I had to find trust in my abilities again, because I was in that desert phase. I didn't create. So I was like, oh, in Switzerland, you have this thing where people only really hire you if you have a piece of paper and if you have a proper education and all of that. I guess in the US, it might be really similar. I guess worldwide. So I had to realize, yeah, but like, is the piece of paper my main skill set? Is that it? Practice and find trust again. So that was the second step of this 3rd chapter. And then I had to learn how to shift perspectives. And that kind of goes into the sphere of, oh, I create something, I put something out there, I maybe find it the most awesome thing ever, and everybody else thinks it sucks. And like, am I creating it for myself? Then that's great. But if I'm creating something for a higher purpose, for people out there, for inspirational output, then I got to be able to shift my perspectives and to kind of like feel what other people feel when they look at the stuff I create or when they hear me talk. I really got to understand, is the image of myself aligned with the image of the person watching, hearing me, seeing the stuff I create, right? And then learn to trust the process was the last part. And basically with the process, I mean, this whole roadmap that you can keep and you can print it on your wall if you really like it. I worked with a painter who made these beautiful little paintings that I used as the backdrop of the chapters. And I had to understand, okay, that this is my circle of love, life, light, bliss, and abundance. And I gotta like keep infusing all of this and keep practicing, because if I drop out of this journey and if I don't keep sticking to my practice, I'm gonna fall back into that Jun again that I introduced to you earlier. And that's why I made the tattoo here, which is a constant reminder to take care of my full circle. And my full circle involves all of the things on this beautiful roadmap. So, who am I today? Today, I live on Bali. I surf almost on a daily basis. I practice yoga because I get what it's about now and I feel the benefits. And I fill my cup of love and abundance every single day with a morning routine, with a little bit of an evening routine usually, and just with really tapping into all the steps that you saw on this roadmap so far. Now, earlier this year in April, I was like really figuring out ways to make an income to survive because I was on Bali. I wasn't signed in Switzerland anymore, so I had no financial resources. I hit rock bottom like 3 times. There were bananas left in the fridge. That was the only thing that was there for a couple of nights. And I was like, okay, the first time I stressed out. Second time I was like, okay, I know this. This is cool. It will change. And now every time that happens, I'm like, oh, this is still really cool. And it starts happening less because I can be okay with it and open up my potential and my energy towards other fields. What do I do today? I said it before, I coach people with mental and holistic health practices. So I basically pick them up from depressed or anxious state of living, and I help them with tools and with guidance to help them find their own individual path into beauty, bliss, life, energy, and all of that. That was my introduction. So thank you all for listening to that introduction. I see I filled about 30 minutes already, and I've prepared a lot of content for today, and I'm gonna give you a couple of things that I invite you to write down because they are tools that I use and I also give my clients, and I would love you to have some of them. Perfect, I see a pen popping up. And what's happening today is, like I said, that I am going to talk about healthy relating. I said I'm going to talk about intimacy and vulnerability. And I said I'm also going to talk about masculine and feminine. And then at the end, to sum it up, about sexual freedom, which I already tapped into a little bit in the beginning, right? So let's dive into healthy relating, since that's what we're mainly here for, because we strive for having healthy relationships and friendships in our lives, because that really creates the shift when it comes down to it, right? How we nourish the people around us and how we let them flourish in our environment so that they can do the same. And then the other ones can do the same. And so we can thrive as a global freaking power, I guess. Yeah. So healthy relating, what I usually do is I break it down and I really strongly work on the field of the relationship we have with ourselves. Because I believe when we're not on point and where we're not clear with the relationship we have with ourselves, we will never be clear with the relationship we have with others. And we deserve to be clear about what relationships we want to have, and so do the other person that are the people that are connected with us. That's what I believe. So starting to understand how to love yourself, that's like a foundation that I talk about a lot. And there are a couple of tools I want to tell you about today. So first of all, your brain believes or starts to believe what it hears, feels, sees, experiences, touches, like anything that is can start believing that once you do that over and over and over again. Now we know to integrate tools into our lives to make our brain believe that we love ourselves. And this kind of sounds like a hack, and it is. So we can use tools to remind our brain that we actually love ourselves and that we're grateful for being, that we're awesome in our bodies, that we love our presence, that we love our visual appearance, that we love our mental space, etc. Now, I invite you that if you have not done that yet, to pick a place in your room, ideally a mirror, and write a message onto it that is an affirmation. Maybe you can take one that we read before from James. Maybe you can take one that is shorter. It can be I am loved, or I love myself, or I am awesome. And it kind of sounds quirky. That's what I thought in the beginning, but it actually starts working over time, because every time your brain sees it again, it starts believing it, right? So leave yourself some messages that you, in your highest version, let's say the version of yourself that loves yourself to the max and beyond, that you and your highest self would love to hear from others, for example, right? Leave some messages around. I even have like a background shot. You don't see it because I have messages now, but it says, all you have is now, show up. And I see this every time and I'm like, oh, what does showing up mean? Checking in, okay, showing up now means I have to do my yoga practice to be balanced, or showing up means I have to do an hour of watching just, I don't know, a nice movie and eating some raw vegan gluten-free cookies to it. Whatever showing up means, right? I set myself reminders so that I understand what it is that serves me and that my brain starts understanding that as well. Now, also, I would like to give you 5 questions that I usually check in with myself and I check in with my clients with. And you can write them down if you feel like it. These are questions that you can ask yourself, and the result of that is your self-love practice. So question number 1, what would I do for myself? What would I do for myself if I'd be my friend? If I'd be my ideal partner? If I'd be my lover, if I'd be my husband, or if I'd be my wife? What would I say to myself if I'd be all of those things I mentioned before? Number 3 is, what would I give to myself? What would I give to myself if I'd be the dopest human I've ever met and I want to give myself a present? Number 4, how would I touch myself? How would I touch myself? And usually when I say this, people come back at me and are like, do you mean like wanking and stuff? And I'm like, well, that's only one part of your body that you can touch. Like, where would you love a dear friend of you to touch you? Would you love them when they give you a hug, to like hug you dearly around the shoulders? Or do you like tapping on your back? Like a client of mine, he was recently coming back to me and was like, Jun, I just really like doing this to myself. It feels really good. And I was like, great, keep doing it. So that's question number 4. How would I touch myself? Right? And then question number 5, it goes a bit deeper, but what would I allow myself to do or to be? What would I allow myself to do or to be? And now the reason why I'm using the would word is because it usually makes it easier, because your brain doesn't already has to create that picture of you actually doing it. So it makes it easy to pinpoint it down and then use it as a North Star. And once you get there, you don't need to ask these questions that often anymore, of course, because it becomes natural to give those things to you, to treat yourself in a way that you would love to be treated by a partner, a lover, a friend. So yeah, I wish that was helpful, first of all. Give me a thumbs up if you have heard something similar before, or if you have never heard something like this. I don't know, wave your hands at me if that is like quite new to you. Yeah, okay, I see mixed. Oh, I see wavy wavies. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you for the feedback. Now, another thing I would like you to know, and maybe you've heard of this already, and this, when I learned about this guy, his name is Dr. Gary Chapman, and he wrote the book, World of Relating to People completely around. And so basically, I just want to introduce you to those 5 love languages, to, okay, which ones do resonate with me, which ones do not. And then further on from that, I'm going to talk about intimacy and vulnerability, and we're going to use those 5 love languages as a platform to work on the fields of intimacy and vulnerability together, okay? So the love language number 1 by Dr. Gary Chapman is gifts, giving and receiving gifts. Now you can feel into it, do I like to receive gifts or do I like to give gifts? Is that one of my primary or secondary kinds of ways to express love? The second one is acts of service. Hun, I did the dishes. I made the bed for us. I cleaned the toilet. I cooked. We went to eat dinner. Acts of service, another way of showing and expressing love. Number 3, quality time. Quality time, spending high quality time together. Hey, do you want to go for dinner with me? Shall we like set an appointment? Like today, the whole evening, I'll spend the whole evening with you, just with you, quality time together. Maybe we'll play a game after dinner. Maybe we'll have sex, whatever's in the space, you know, whoever you're meeting. Number 4, physical touch. Do you like to give and receive love with physical touch? Is that a primary form of expression for you? And number 5 is words of affirmation. Hey, I really like to hang out with you. I really appreciate you being present. Actually, I really appreciate all of you being present here and being so like here with me. Like I really do. Yeah, that's also one way of my primary ways of expressing love, words of affirmation. So now that we all know of those, we can create more clarity about how we give and receive love. And the beautiful, any comments on this? Yeah. Nope, no comments. So let's move on and then in the end do a little Q&A. So now that we know a bit more about that, we've built a foundation of clarity. And for me, clarity is key to enter relationships. Because honestly, if we don't have an intention why we are meeting someone, what are our needs, what are our desires in that meeting, like we often end up dazzling around in conversations, not getting anywhere, maybe meeting people we don't really want to hang out with. Maybe you've been on a party and everybody got more drunk than you and you're kind of like, oh, I kind of want to go home, but I'm still here. So clarity in how you give and receive love creates a new reality for us. It creates new relationships because now that you know, you cannot unknow. Now that you've learned, you cannot unlearn. And utilizing this knowledge with the 5 love languages is really beautiful because I'm gonna make them a really vulnerable example right now, okay? I'm a little bit nervous about this, bet you are too. So the guy you just saw before who tuned in on me, I went to the sauna yesterday, and for about 1 year, I have been manifesting a person into my life, a male embodiment, and I have journals filled, like every other day I manifested that person and I specify what I'm looking for. So yesterday that guy popped up and he ticked off most of the boxes. And we had a really beautiful evening together. We went for dinner. We had very clear intentions. I hope you're okay with sharing, guys. He sends me a love kiss from over there. And now we already, like, I'm honestly kind of feeling like we have a really deep relationship already, and only we met yesterday because both of us came into this with an extremely clear intention. So yesterday we talked about the 5 love languages. We talked about how do you like to give and receive love. We talked about our ideal ways of relating and stuff like that. And because I brought in the clarity from my side and he was actually able to bring in the clarity from his side as well, it allowed us to drop into a very, very fast and beautiful connection, right? So that was really vulnerable. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Jun. Thank you. And thank you to Mahan for being okay for sharing that too.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was a little bit scary, but I love facing my fears.
That's cool. I feel like
So,
James could align to have something to say about that sort of story.
because because of the new girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Anyway, let's take this to the end. I'm just gonna burst through. Now it's not too much. As ending the summit, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a little fire. And I'll keep on doing so. So I just gave an example on how it could work out. Right? Learn is a communication framework that you can integrate into any meeting with a friend, with a date, with someone who you maybe a family member, maybe in a group even, right? And the communication framework, I learned that in a retreat back in February, and it's also been a game changer for me in the ways I create foundations for my relationships and friendships. It also works in business, by the way. Business relationships work out as well for that. And it's called the Needs, Fears, and Desires Talk. And the title gives it away already, right? So it's basically a framework that you can set up with another person in front of you, or maybe with a group of people. And the essential thing that people, when you hear the title, you're like, oh, I'm just going to talk about my needs, about my fears, about my desires, and then da-dee-da-da. But the essential thing that I want you to learn is that when you set up a communication framework, it basically needs a host, as this here needs a host as well, right? Needs somebody who creates the container to get the most clarity out of the conversation. And now the needs, fears, and desires topic goes like this. You pick who goes first in communicating your needs to other people. And here the needs, they can vary. They can go from anywhere to everywhere. And the important job is for the speaker to speak and for the listener to shut the fuck up and listen and receive. That's what it's there. That's what it's about. And then you swap turns and the other person talks about their needs and the other one just listens, takes in. Round two, you speak about your fears. Are you scared of speaking up when for example, somebody is in your workplace, has a role that you consider as above of you? Are you afraid of speaking up for that, for yourself, for example? So the just wording your fears in a way of I am scared of already lessens the fear because it comes out of your body through your voice. And then the third round, you talk about your desires. And I'm gonna do that with you very soon. Gonna do that very soon. And the interesting part about the desires is, especially in relationships, that's where we can start really working with each other. When we understand what the other person's desires are and we can react to that and we can give that, in exchange also receive that, that's where we feel most home, nourished, and where we can really flourish in a relationship, right? Because who here has been in relationships where your desires were not fulfilled, where your needs weren't met, right? Like, we don't want that bullshit anymore. That's why we're here. Yeah. So that was basically the last tool I intended to introduce to you today before I would speak a couple of words about sexual freedom and then go into a question and answer section. First of all, if some words that I have used throughout the speech are new to you or weird or are not proper English, English is not my mother tongue and I don't give a shit if it was wrong. Second of all, sexual freedom. Now, as the only man in here representing or possibly representing the embodiment of an LGBTQ persona. An LGBTQ plus basically means lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender, queer, all in the spectrum that cannot identify themselves as I am straight or I am gay or I'm something. It's a specter for the most of the people that identify in that scene, right? And when I was figuring out about what sexuality actually is, and when I was starting to touch myself in parts that I haven't touched myself before, I was about 12 years old. I was quite late compared to others. And I was about 12 years old. And what was happening back then, at some point, I got my first computer. At some point, the first porn site popped up. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? What are they doing? I kind of like it, but what are they doing? So I looked into porn for about 1.5 years, and I looked into straight porn, and I enjoyed it. At some point, gay porn popped up on my screen, and a part of me started enjoying it as well. And I kind of like flew through all of that stuff hidden, because I was conditioned that sexuality is something you don't talk about, you don't really share with that. This isn't a taboo topic. Look at me now, throwing all those terms around. Anyway, so I discovered all of that, and further down the road, understanding that I can't identify with any of these terms fully. And it was always 3 months, really beautiful relationship with her until I realized that her past traumas were projected onto me really harshly, and I had to get out of that relationship. Then I asked a friend of mine, which I knew from surfing, if he would be interested in just trying. And he was like, I was super scared to ask him, right? The first man you ask to have a sexual, intimate experience with. And I was like, what am I gonna do? His answer was priceless. He was like, Jun, I thought you'd never ask. And I was like, what? Okay. So I had my first experience with a man, and I realized it's beautiful as well. And then I had different experiences with men and women. And until today, I am in living in unclarity about my sexual orientation. Yet what I am in clarity with is my sexual preferences. And I start to understand what I feel more drawn to, what kind of energies in people's lives, what kind of lifestyles do I feel more drawn to. And so at some point, the term pansexuality came up, and pansexuality basically means falling in love with the person before the gender, with the mindset, the lifestyle of a person before the gender plays a role in it. And that resonated quite a lot, but still not fully. So what I came to the conclusion, and what I help some people in my surroundings with as friends, but also as clients of mine in my coaching containers, is that I help them understand that change is the only consistent, and that counts for sexual orientation as well. So if you are not firm, and if you don't feel like my sexual orientation is exactly how it always was, or maybe there is confusion around it, that is actually really cool. That's actually really cool, because it can open the doors for different experiences. And that's what I had to understand for myself, that this is not a limit. And I don't have to judge myself for that anymore, because I can just live my life, connect with people, whatever shapes and forms they come in. And sometimes my dick wakes up with them, and sometimes it don't. And that's fine. So sexual freedom. Yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much for sharing all that, Jun. I really appreciate your beautiful story, your vulnerability, your bravery, and it's quite the journey. I totally get it. Gentlemen, does anybody have any questions, comments, stories of their own to share?
Jun, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. Your 5 love languages, that's a great reminder. And then I wrote down your questions that you had shared with the group as far as examples of how to treat ourselves. That was very impactful.
Thank you. I'm happy it landed. Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Jake, Michael, Ryan? Michael, you
Just
want to
reading them.
yourself, buddy?
It's like coming from an older generation. I enjoy so much being able to take the time to listen to somebody younger than me tell me their perspective, where you're coming from, how you see it. I think that's so much of the disconnect that we experience in the world right now is the gap in that people not hearing how other people view the world. One of the things that I experienced through my place of employment is I started managing the internships. And that happened because I went back to college in my 40s for a social work degree. So I'm in class as a military veteran, coming out of my background as a Marine, in class with the modern day social justice warriors in their teens. I mean, I got my degree in social work in 2018. So exactly the class of millennial and post millennials that my generation, Gen X, and the baby boomers are known for giving so much criticism to are the people that I was sitting in the classroom with, addressing the social issues that are such hot topics right now. And when I finished school at Horse Sense, I started managing the interns. So for the last 2 years, I've been both interviewing and supervising the internship program at work. So the same demographic is coming in and presenting their case and dropping their resumes and interviewing with me, and then showing up at 6:30 in the morning to feed horses with me and spend the day with me. And here I am, freaking scary looking 50-year-old tattooed Marine with these kids that are modern day social justice warriors. And I have gotten so much out of it. I have to be honest, going into it, we have this thing in equine psychotherapy with the EGALA program, Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association, has this evaluation thing called SPUDS, which is when you go into a session, you look at first, is there any shifts? Are there any patterns? Are there any unique occurrences? Are there any discrepancies? Like, I say this, but I'm doing this. And then the last one, the S, are there any apostrophe S's, which is my shit. What are my own biases, concepts, preconceptions am I bringing into this? And when I look at that, being honest, once again, coming from the generation that I'm coming from and the background that I'm going from, raised by rednecks, coming out of the Marine Corps, and very first intern that I had introduced themselves to me as non-binary. It was like, what the fuck is that? I mean, seriously, I don't even have a clue what this is. Somebody explain this to me. They, them, him, her, he, she. I really didn't even know what to do with that. And it wasn't that I was coming from a place of aggressive bias. I just didn't have a clue. It wasn't a concept I'd been introduced to before, and I was confused. And so that was my apostrophe S in the situation, having to step back and go, okay, well, okay.
Yeah.
And having to
say that, because I had the same.
My questions about it became less relevant than learning about the person that was in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I've learned so much from your generation by being open to being exposed to it, as opposed to carrying my generation's biases into it. And I have enjoyed your live posts and the stuff that you put out on the summit pages and stuff like that so much, and I feel like I'm learning a lot from you. So thank you so much for what you brought forward today.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. Woo. That's funny because I can even relate to that. From the first time I met somebody with who identified as non-binary, me today identifying somewhere there as well. And back then already feeling that somewhere in my heart and stuff, I was also confused. I was like, what is this? So it's really growing. It's shifting. Language is like starting to keep up with the change and with coming up with words for how people feel and how people identify. Because language is limited as well, right? And now all of these terms come up, and some celebrities pop them out, some don't, and we start to understand that there's so much more to our emotional and mental bodies that we can like put into words. Yeah.
Michael,
there you go.
I
really enjoyed your transparency of honesty, being who you are and coming from where you come from. The thing I enjoyed is how open you were with who you are. And I wish more people in the world were like you. Because if that was the case, this world would be a better place. And I just wish we had more people like you. Because this world is very mean and evil. And it should not be that way. We should accept everyone for who they are. And whoever they like, no matter who they like, we just should accept each other, no matter what differences are.
And just looking at how we meet here, thank you so much, Michael. I had to take a really deep breath on that one. It's like it's sinking so much in. And looking at us meeting here as this group, and with you being here, Michael, and with it's like holy. See, like the language is like that I'm having right now. It's a mix of gratitude and of joy into looking forward, because that's the energy that we create with every single word that so thank you. And it's funny with the vulnerability, just to give that a little side note for you, Michael, and I guess for everybody else as well, is that at some point I entered a stage in my life where I became extremely confident because I had a lot of clarity. And then there came this shades of confidence for me as well. And at some point, I realized that I'm tending to use vulnerability sometimes even as a shield. So I would be in conversations and I would like throw everything at the people, even though I wouldn't even feel into, is this in the space right now? And I would just be like, look at me, I'm so vulnerable. And coming from an extremely shy, overweight person, and then dropping into that space, I completely fell into the other realm of disbalance and being like, okay, I'm using vulnerability as a protection, because then I'm the vulnerable guy and I am allowed to share anything, right? And I don't give a shit. And today I really found balance between like, I do give a shit about what I share. And I do give a shit about where I share. So dancing between the vulnerability and the just being in silence and in presence with the things that happen in my life or the things that happen in our lives, also a really, really big part of my journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that very important message. You're just receiving, and we're coming close to time. And so what I have to offer before we come into closing, we were originally going to have a VIP panel, but I don't see any reason to transition out of this space with the people that are here. So what I would like to offer, if Jun is done with what he is wanting to present, is that if anyone would like to stay online and share their own personal stories out of the audience, if you would like to address anything that you're struggling with and talk to the group about it and stay within that space, address anything that we haven't hit on already, I'm happy to continue holding the container for you guys in that.
Let me turn the audio on. One more thing, I'm just going to share that in the comments to make it easier to connect with each other, because some of you I'm already friends with on Facebook, some of you I've connected on Instagram, and I'm going to go after that, after the summit as well. Well, before that, I'm going to go for a surf, but after the surf, I'm going to go after that as well. But I'll just post the links to my social media and my website in the comments, so that if you want to connect before I come back from the surf, that you can do that. And I also put in the website of the 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. Perfect. So if you want to dive deeper into his teachings, there is the website to do so. Yeah.
I really appreciate
That's it from my side.
Perfect.
Woo!
Did it. Well done, my friend. Good pleasure. Is there anyone that's wanting to stay online? It's totally fine either way. It's been a very long day, so I'm not going to have hurt feelings if everybody's like, this has been amazing, peace out. All right, we'll just go around the table. June, do you want to stay on longer?
I want to go for a surf.
You want to go for a surf? Awesome. I love it.
You
want to go? Do you want to stay on longer? You want to go play with your chickens?
I want to go surfing with June.
Come, let's go.
Where's Grant when we need him with his plane? What the heck, guys?
Right?
Jake, do you want to stay on or no?
Thanks for sharing, June. Great presentation, buddy. I like the visuals too. Well done.
Thank you. I just read that you were into graphic design as well.
Yeah.
I'm like literally at my bedtime, but I am definitely open to hang out and chat if anybody else is as well.
Can we do another 4 hours?
Sure.
Put some coffee on, man. We can go for it.
I'll be right back.
Off at my bedtime.
I'm a this or that either way at this point.
All right. Well,
I gotta go take my dog, so I'm out.
You gotta go take your doggos. Much love.
Let's call it because I will probably fall asleep if I do try to have a conversation.
Perfect. Let's just call it. So, last words around the table.
I think I've friended most of you at this point as well, and I hope this isn't the last one. I'm sure we're gonna have more.
Only time will tell. I'm sure in one way or another that it will continue on in the beautiful blossoming flower that it is yet to be revealed.
I'm sure the conversations with this group of men will continue no matter what happens with the summit.
Hear to that.
Yeah. I was thinking, Alicia, now we were thinking about possibly doing it for men and or women. What if there was one specific to the LGBTQ community or one that was specific to the challenge community that Michael could host?
Whoever
like
wants
right?
to host it, that's too much for my plate, but I am 100% down to supporting all of that because I have connections in different places, but I am going to be proud of myself and hold boundaries right now and say, I want to continue the movement, but I have to do it in a more balanced way for my health on multiple levels. But I'm not so yes.
In addition to that, I'm trying to take a bit of responsibility for kicking this into the original arena to start with. But if men are going to continue the conversation about men, then some men need to take some responsibility for continuing the conversation about men, and not put that on you to push this forward. And
I appreciate that, Jake. And what I'm hoping to be able to still continue to have it go forward is to have as many of you funnel good human beings.
Hey, you trust in that tree a whole lot, brother.
On
why you putting
and so it can kind of become almost like a little TV channel that everybody knows to tune in at a certain time in a certain place, and just create more resources for men, like continue the conversation going in vulnerability. And if people want to log in, like to register on a landing page so that we can build an email list and they can be part of it like this, and we can put it live on Facebook or something like that. We'll keep it going.
what I'm kind of dropping out right now is to the men that were panelists and presenters on this is if you're down for it, even if we just get together and schedule a once a month Zoom talk to just get together and stay in touch until we can put something else together larger like this, but so that we do not lose contact with each other and the forward momentum that we've presented here. You know, that there's a ball in the court. Let's keep this thing bouncing. Let's not let it fall off of the radar. Let's do something forward. So if all of us can kind of, we've got a little chat going on the Facebook DM already.
I love
but if we can commit to like, just pick it a time once a month for now, where we'll get together for an hour or two a night or a day or on a weekend or whatever works best for time zone consideration, and just sit down and go, yeah, dudes, what's up with y'all? What's going on? And who's doing what? Who's thinking about what? And until we're all in a position to move forward with another one of these and maybe make it a bigger, better event where we can pull more of our people into it and more people can benefit from it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
What I was going to say, I plan to start a YouTube channel here very soon, and what that is going to do, I plan to show things like this and show horseback riding through my life, and I plan to bring a light to all of this.
You're open to the means.
I love it, Michael. I'll put it on the podcast.
Yes, and I'm very open to reaching out to you guys to continue this effort and continue to put this forward. That we have to keep encouraging one another, because if we don't do it, who else will?
Right.
Facts, brother, facts.
I like that. Yeah. One more input from my side before I'm going to head out with Niels. Niels was a participant before, and he just texted me on WhatsApp. Great job, June. Now surfing old man. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm coming. One more thing, I also want to speak into the reality is that I am a really big fan of utilizing our Facebook group, and it doesn't take a lot of planning. It doesn't take a lot of effort to go live in there. And what I've been doing recently is going live with other people as well in my Facebook group or on my Facebook page. And that's really easy to set up. You just go live and you invite somebody in. And I also feel like that if we have conversations together, they will be inspiring.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you, Jane. I would love for you guys to basically just like
so it would be nice
on your groups, share it to like the global resources for men, because that's what I changed the name to from the Lions Den. Who knows if the Lions Den will ever become a paid group, but like right now it's about resources for you guys and you guys coming together in community. And I think it's definitely more impactful when you guys do the lives together versus just a singular person.
Thanks, Solomon, for me. I've got a all new relationship with talking to my penis now. So
Yes. Yes.
So much.
Oh yes.
There were so many great things, but yeah. That was
we're all eating with a new friend.
Why do South Park episodes?
It was so good. You guys are epic human beings. I'm so grateful to be a part of your lives. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for stepping up to the plate on behalf of everybody out there. There have been a lot of women actually reaching out to me wanting to hear this replay. So it's nice to know that, like, for you guys, that there are women out there that really want to hear what you have to say. Important. You know,
I had more women wanting to join than men.
I got the same. I had a lot more women connect with me saying that they wanted to know, they wanted to participate and they wanted to hear what we had to say than men did.
Yeah, no, I've actually had that happen as well, which is really interesting. So that was something I was going to ask you guys, that if we wanted to do a future live with a bigger group of guys, that we actually put the live up on Facebook and do a watch party on all of our different Facebook, like our public Facebook pages, because there are so many women that are interested in hearing what you guys have to say.
Make the women pay for it.
Oh my God, dude. Did we already paid for it? Sorry, it had to be said. I've been so good for 2 summits. I had to at least put one.
I say I want to take this thing as big as it could go. I think it could really grow. So let's push this narrative and open it up to everyone.
No, that's beautiful, and we will definitely do that. I just need a rest break. That's I've been pushing hard for 6 months.
I'm gonna help you now.
The truth of it is, if the male narrative is going to carry forward, we need one of the guys to pick up the torch and carry it forward.
You know,
that's honestly the truth of it. Is it's not fair for us to expect you to carry this forward when this is something that the guys are asking for. Not when it's something that I put forward as like, damn, I would love to have this conversation, you know, and shit, you made it happen. And at this point, I'm looking at it going, well, shit, you know, I spoke it and now it exists. And I'm kind of like, let's go. So I'm kind of wanting to take some ownership of this myself and encourage the rest of us all to step up and do the same, because today has been inspiring as hell for me. And listening to a lot of what has been said has been very inspiring for me. And I don't think this is something that should drop off and be forgotten. I do think this is something that needs to be pushed forward. And I don't think it's fair to expect you to carry it, because it is something that men need to carry forward for ourselves. You know, let's be straight up about what men have done for quite a lot of our history. We have let women carry the work while we carried the accolades.
Right.
And that's quite fucking fair.
Miss Alicia, when are you coming back to Austin?
Oh man, I don't know. I just got a job. It starts on Friday, and I won't have more than 2 days off at a time for probably a very long time, unless I fuck things up. So, which, let's just be honest, we never know. The world is a very strange place right now. So, bye, Jun.
Let's give it up for Alicia, guys.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you, you
So
guys.
I'm about to head off. I will be really active in the Facebook group because that's my main platform, and I'll be reaching out to all of you through the groups.
You're
Thank you all
awesome.
from my side again.
Please,
Hallelujah
please
to
look
everyone.
at the waves just for 1 minute, just for me. Like, channel it to me, will you, Jun? Because I miss the ocean. I miss it.
Michael, keep shining that light and sharing your love,
I'll
brother.
take you
Man,
with
I'm a
me.
huge fan already.
Y'all will definitely be hearing from me.
I'll see you on the
Michael,
stage.
you are awesome, brother.
Oh, so much love. See you all soon.
Bye, Jun.
Take care, June.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. You guys rock.
You guys have a wonderful, awesome rest of your evening. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, June. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
It's been well worth it.
This, you have no idea what you've created.
Well, I appreciate that, Michael. And all I wanted to ever do was make the world a better place. So any moment that happens, from small to large, from a smile on someone's face to a movement, it all means, it hits me right in my heart, my soul, and it aligns in my purpose. So thank you for being part of that.
Oh, I thank you for considering me for this. And I will continue to push the narrative forward. Trust me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Miss Alicia.
You are very welcome. It's an honor to have both of you here. I'm really glad that you popped your head in for a minute so that we could give you credit. It's important for you to acknowledge for the beautiful things you bring to this world too.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Because I know I get on his nerves sometimes.
All the time. It's not sometimes.
Michael, my friend, we all have those moments. Don't think you're alone in that. We all get on somebody's nerves at some point.
Yeah.
Including our own, I think.
Yes, including our own.
All right, my friend Michael, feel free to give me a call anytime. You're welcome to.
Oh, yes. I'm going to take you up on that.
Do it. Calvin can attest to the fact that I'm good at picking up the phone and calling people back.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words before I turn it back?
I have some ideas.
You have some?
I want to run by you.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not done.
We're not done.
Well, I'm gonna give you a break, but we're not done yet.
You're gonna give me a break? Well, no, I appreciate that. I have every intention of continuing on with, like our emotion. Okay, everybody left us. Carrie, are you ready to?
Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. I've been multitasking all day, and I am sorry for missing everything. But I will catch the replays. I see. Michael, is he an audience member or is he a panelist?
He is a speaker. So you can ask him whatever questions you want. You came in just in the nick of time.
Michael, sorry, what were you?
I was a speaker. I was the third one.
Okay.
I was the third one to go today.
I see. Okay. Well, and I'm sorry I was absent all day. I had a company I was tending to, but I will.
No, my friend, you're gonna love the replays.
I'm sure I will.
Not just from me, from everyone.
Everybody was great. No, everybody was great, Michael, but yours was definitely like one of the most impactful speeches, and I'm pretty sure everybody would feel good about me saying that.
I thank you, but everybody impacted me. You have no idea. The fire you've created under me now.
I'm really excited about to hear that, Michael. It's been a pleasure to have you on the summit. Feel free, you can email me your ideas too, and then I can potentially come back with a better response. You never know. But it's 7:24 here, and we started at noon. So.
Jeez.
That's my Miss Alicia. Miss Alicia, go get your son a drink and get some rest.
Something other than water, you mean? Something with maybe like some alcohol in it? Vodka perhaps?
Yes, something very strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Get the strongest possible drink.
Yes.
And have a double. Yes, double fist. Yes, exactly.
As hard as you worked, go get you a nice drink and drink to your success. Because what you did was a success.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that because it's been a hard road. There's beautiful moments within it, but it's been arduous. So moments like these on the summit is what makes the entire journey well worth it, and all the obstacles, no matter what came up. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you for gifting me that, Michael.
And I also would tell you this, and take this with you. I am going to try to grow this thing and expand this to where you don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Michael. It's all for you.
I,
And, you know, I just want to make the world a better place and allow you men to be able to be heard and seen and get to be all of yourselves. So when that happens, I am happy.
go get you a drink.
Yeah, Alicia, although I missed all of today, I wanted to say thank you for your effort in putting this together. It's tremendous, and I will definitely spread the word about the replays and make sure that, you know, actually what I want to do is get some guys together to watch it as a group and, you know, discuss some of what's, you know, the.
Cool. Thank you for telling me.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, to put this together for all by yourself and then do it for, you know. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. With, you know, I don't know. I don't think you're being paid by anybody to do it. And,
No, I have lost money on this venture, and
exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, more power to you, and
like,
you're a rock star.
thank you. No, I really appreciate that. And so, I mean, I shouldn't say that it was a loss, but it was definitely, it was a lot. It was like 10 to 12-hour days, 7 days a week for 6 months, you know, for the most part.
Right.
I don't feel, and after having experienced this weekend, I feel actually really good about what I put forward, because I really do feel like it's going to make a difference. And that's what makes everything worth it for me as a soul. So
Really appreciate that. It's not that often that, you know, for a woman to put together a men, to feel strongly enough to put together a men's summit was something I was not expecting. And I think you should be commended for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Well, I think it'll be really great. Let me know how it goes when your guys see the replay. I'll let you know as soon as I get the editing done, and I'll have it out there. And yeah, I think that some of the guys are going to take up like a monthly thing that maybe you can hop on if you want to. Like, I'll link you in with the guys, and then maybe you
Oh, sweet. Okay.
in with them, and it can become a bigger thing. And
that would be lovely. That would be lovely.
So I want to have a weekly speaker. So if there are any guys that you know that are just really good stand-up guys that are willing to vulnerably share their story and some of their wisdom,
of course, yeah.
then I can just like interview like one guy a week at the same time. So, and we'll do it live on Facebook, and then people can engage more. And then if there's more of you that want to hop on a call together to discuss something, then we can do that, and that's how we can build it a little bit more. And yeah. And that will be more sustainable if you guys are sending me people, because then I don't have to spend a bunch of time looking and building relationships. I'm just gonna be like, okay, great.
Right.
And I'll just schedule everybody out, and I'll be like, okay, these are all the people. Show up if you want to. Here's the Zoom link.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm definitely on board with that.
Awesome. Well, I know where you're at too, and you've had company all day long. Like, you could relax.
Yeah, I've been between calls and having people here. And waking up too early, it's been exhausting. But you know, I'm hanging in there. I don't have to work until in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. So I'll catch up on whatever rest I need.
Perfect. That sounds really good.
Yes.
I'm going to spend tomorrow doing self-care. That's my job tomorrow. It's just self-care.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You're a rock star. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Yes.
And I will get you to the East Coast if it's the last thing I do.
I know we keep missing each other. I'm like, oh, it was only a couple states away.
I thought I had you this time when you went back west.
I was totally gonna come see you. I was ready. Maybe you're gonna have to Arizona, maybe, or Montana or something. I'm supposedly gonna.
Yeah, well, I am overdue to visit the Mountain Time Zone actually. So you know, I've actually don't think I've ever been in the Mountain Time Zone except for layovers.
There you go. So
I'll have to fix that.
Sedona's beautiful. Scottsdale's nice. Montana in summer is epically beautiful. I would definitely but you know, summer's nice. Let me settle into my new job, and I'll probably be sore for a few weeks, like going from sitting on my ass for like 3/4 of the year to like working like grooming
I
horses.
know. Yeah.
Today. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
the thought of more
crawling to my bed.
physical activity actually
Oh,
frightens
it'll be
me.
great.
I don't know how I respond.
I'm gonna lose 30 pounds like that. It's gonna be amazing. So excited.
I could stand to lose about 15 to 20 myself, but
We can make it a race. It'll be fun.
have to start somewhere. Yeah. We should actually do that. I think that might be the only way we get it done.
Well, I mean, my job's gonna make it happen, but you know, like I'm always happy to have, you know, like playful competition and healthy stuff. So guys,
Sounds good to me.
I love talking to you. I feel like I'm maxed out. So I'm going to honor that.
Yes.
And I will happily talk to both of you later. Thank you so much for helping
Yes.
out.
Thank you, Alicia. Take care.
Go away now.
Yes, get some rest. You're the best.
Hey, bye guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Talk soon.